Welcome back, everybody. This is episode 2 of Nikki Jo Budgets. I'm Nikki Jo, and today we are going to learn how to get your budget set up. Okay? If you hear some clickety clackety, it's the dog. I can't get him to lay down. He's just curious. So anyway, here we go. So the best way to set up your budget is to know what your expenses are, where you are already spending your money. So everybody's budget's going to look different. Your expenses are going to be different. Your bills are different. We're going to do a basic here. This is how I have found the easiest way to set up my budget and to figure out all of my expenses. You're going to want to print off some bank statements. Okay. I have the same one, but I've got 2 of them here. All right. And we're going to categorize everything that has come in or out of your bank. So I use my debit card a lot when I'm shopping, spending, whatever. So I have a lot of swipe charges, okay? Here's what we're going to do. I've got my highlighters here, all right? And some old bank statements here. And what we're going to do is we're going to categorize all of our expenses, all of our money that came in and out of here, okay? So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pick a color. I'm picking green. And I'm going to draw a line here, okay? Green is going to represent all of my income that has come in. So on this particular bank statement, my bank puts it out here for me. So my credits are marked right here. And that's the number I'm going to want to use for my income off of this statement, okay? So I'm going to take that number and I'm going to write it over here in my green box, okay? Let me zoom this in a little bit here. Oh, maybe that's too far. Let's try that. Okay. So I wrote the total in my green box. Now we're going to start going through our activity. Okay. So it looks like, let me move this up a little bit here so I can show you. Let's pick another color. I'm going to go with yellow. And draw another box, and I'm going to make this be all of my bills that I have paid for on this statement, okay? So I'm going to go through, and I'm looking at all of my things here, and I'll find one that is a bill. So this would have been not a credit card. Sorry, I didn't mean to mark that. This one right here. That would have been my phone bill, so we're going to mark that one. Peacock would have been a bill. That's one of my subscriptions. My car insurance. So you're going to go through and you're going to mark everything that's a bill. Okay. Then you're going to come back, add them all up, and put the total here. So let's just pick a number because we're not going to go through all of this. And say that our bills equaled $300. Okay. We're just going to put that down. You're going to categorize all of your expenses for the month. So I did several categories for mine. I did a spending category. I did my bills, my groceries, my credit cards, and I labeled them all out here differently. So like I would make all of my little marks over here with my different highlighters so that I knew I had all these categories, okay? All right, so then I would go through and let's say I wanted to see everywhere that I spent groceries. So I'd go through and find any purchases that were at grocery stores, and I'd write that number here, and let's just pick a number, okay? And then let's say I went through and I found out all the places that I spent money on gas, putting gas in my car. And let's just say that equaled 75. So you get the idea, okay? So you're going to categorize all of your expenses. You pick your categories and then you add them all up and put them on here. Then you're going to take your categories and you're going to, so you're going to take those and add them all up. I recommend doing at least 3 bank statements. Okay. 6 is ideal. 3 is fine. 6 is better. I did all of 2025. And I did all of 2025 because I wanted to have a more I wanted to know where all my money went last year when I wasn't cash budgeting and I was just spending like a crazy person. So I figured out what all of mine were for 2025. Give me just a second here. So I figured out what all of mine were for 2025, and I wrote them down right here for the year. Then I took them and divided them by 12 so I could see what I had spent on average in a month for each of my categories that I created. Okay? So this is what you're going to want to do to get an idea of where you are spending all of your money currently so that we can make a budget based off of your current expenses and bills. Then you can see, for example, I know that this one here was my spending category. This one meant anything that I spent on for reckless spending. It didn't include bills or groceries or gas or any necessities. It didn't include credit card payments. It was just me shopping at random places like Amazon or Walmart or Target or any of those places. And I divided it out by 12 and realized that I am spending over $1,400 a month on nonsense. And that made me sick to my stomach to see that. Where if I would have been doing my cash budgeting system, that would have never happened. That money would have been put into envelopes and sinking funds and had a certain intent. I'm not saying I wouldn't have spent anything on shopping, because I would have, but I would have been coming out of one fund and it wouldn't just be random shopping at the store whenever I felt like it. Okay, so this is what you need to do next to get where your expenses are going. Break them down into whatever categories that work for you. Get a total over here, whether you're doing it for 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. Your total goes here, and then you're dividing your total by how many months this was. So if you're doing 6 months, you'll get your total, divide it by 6, and that would give you your average per month. And that is where we need to start. So this is how you're going to start with your budget plan. Okay. Then I have mine all set up in a budget planner. And that is how I figure out where I'm going to break this down, how I'm going to break it into the cash envelope system, and where I'm going to start cutting back and saving. So this is just a short video. This is how you're going to get your budget started. I just wanted this to be quick and short because I want you to see what you need to do next. And once you get that together, you'll be ready to go on to episode 3. And in episode 3, we are going to set up my budget binder. And then I believe episode 4 is where we set up our actual budget for the month of March. Okay? So thanks for being here with me. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below and I can hopefully answer those questions for you. Do make sure that you do a category for your income. That's really important so that you know what all your income sources were combined together. I had said in episode 1 that this is mine is an individual income. I need to explain that a little bit more. I do not live in a single income home. I do live with my significant other. However, he does cover most of the household expenses, and my bills are my personal bills. So we don't combine our money. I do help pay for some of the bills in the home, but he does cover the majority. I right now only have my full-time income. I don't have extras like an Etsy shop or YouTube money or any other things. I don't have a part-time job. It's just one full-time job that I'm basing my budget off of at the moment. I will be having an Etsy shop. So a lot of the things that you're going to see coming up in the future that I am putting together, showing you savings challenges, things like that, will be in my Etsy shop. But right now I do not have it up and going. So I won't be getting any income from that. So the month of March is going to be based off of one income, one full-time job, one income. So all of our budgeting is going to be based on a lower budget. not higher numbers like you'll see in a lot of other videos. Again, if you have any questions, just put them in the messages for me. Hopefully this made sense to you. Go get your bank statements and get to adding and categorizing and figuring out where your money's going. And we will plan in our next video. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.